Today we're looking at Elon Musk Doge project. This is the Department of Government Efficiency, and it was named after a crypto coin. Many legal experts are sounding the alarm, calling it an absolute nightmare for privacy and national security. In this video, we're going to unpack the legal and the practical implications of this initiative. Let's get started. Doge was launched under Trump's administration with Elon Musk and Vivek leading it. Vivek quit his role shortly after it was launched. A lot of people were speculating that he was either going to run for governor of Ohio, or maybe there were some sort of personality disagreements he had with Elon. Elon Musk hasn't been a co-chair of pretty much anything. He's usually the leader. He's usually leading the way. So maybe he didn't want Vivek around, and that's why he's the sole leader now. The goal of Doge was straightforward: streamline government operations, cut bureaucracy, and reduce spending. But methods employed, especially Elon's aggressive approach to try to get access to federal systems with sensitive information, that's creating a legal firestorm. So how did Doge get to be so much more than just about efficiency? The first major red flag was raised when Doge personnel were gaining access to the Department of Treasury's central payment database, a move that has drawn lawsuits from two major unions so far. Allen of Electronic Privacy Information Center said, "This is an absolute nightmare," citing violations of the Privacy Act of 1974. Mary, a former DHS chief privacy officer, warned of a data breach of exponential proportions. So this is not just a privacy concern, it is a major security risk. Members of Doge have access now to social security numbers, names, tax information, and bank details without the proper authorization, without a public notice. There are no clearly identified safeguards for if this information is somehow leaked out, the damage that it could cause. And some of these systems require a top secret clearance just to access them. The Doge team right now is made up of 6 young men from the age of 19 to 24. Their pictures, their names, they're all over social media. They're being mentioned in websites across the internet. And because that information is publicly available, a lot of people on Reddit and other platforms, they're targeting them. They're attacking them through the internet, and also there's calls to violence, which I believe is completely unacceptable, but it goes to speak towards the tension that's in the air right now from a lot of people in the public, especially in the federal government. Speaking of tension, there was actually a protest outside of OPM in Washington, D.C. recently. It was a little more than a couple of dozen people, but some of them drove from out of town to D.C. just to attend. Beyond privacy, there's the cybersecurity angle. Doge's access could be violating the Federal Information Security Modernization Act of 2002. There have been reports of career federal employees that have now been locked out of systems, that have been locked out of databases, and this brings back memories of the great data breach of 2013. This OPM hack was one of the largest cyber breaches in U.S. history. Over 22 million records were compromised, and this includes 4.2 million current and former federal employees' personnel records, 19 million people who had applied for security clearances, which included their SF-86, and 1.8 million relatives and associates of these people had their data stolen. This was only around 10 years ago, so it's still fresh in a lot of people's mind. And this is a clear example on how data that gets out there, it could be misused. It can cause catastrophic consequences that impact everything from taxes to national security. Another contentious issue is Musk and Trump's attempt to dismantle USAID. This agency was established by JFK and later Congress, and its destruction, its dismantling cannot be done by executive order alone. There will be legal challenges, with experts calling it the most clearly unconstitutional act. So even though Trump doesn't have the authority to destroy this agency, he can still impact international aid. As of right now, there's a 90-day freeze on all foreign assistance. Now, you might have heard of a lot of the spending that was happening in this agency. Some of it is ridiculous. Like, some of it, I'm sure you wouldn't even agree that we should be spending money on. But there are good parts of this agency. There have been good spending. Look at the HIV programs in Africa, or the educational programs in Afghanistan, and even reading programs in the Philippines. There are clear benefits. Another concerning aspect is that Doge has the potential to access tax data. This isn't just about financial privacy, it's about protection of taxpayer information under the federal law. Now, Trump's response has been vague, suggesting that Elon's access is limited to firing decisions that they both agree on. Basically, Trump is saying that he is the final decision maker. He is the one who has the authority, and what Elon does, regardless of what he uncovers or what his idea is, it is simply a recommendation. It is advice. And then Trump is the one who says, okay, either we do it or we do not do it. A lot of people don't feel that is actually happening. They feel like they're feeling like Elon is just running away with the authority that he has been given, which isn't much, but he is doing a lot of investigating. He is pulling together a lot of resources to uncover things, and it's making a lot of people nervous. But Congress is not sitting this out. Democrats have asserted that to make any changes to this agency, they need congressional approval. And Marco Rubio acknowledges this, and he says that there is insubordination happening within the agency and it needs to be brought under control. He goes on further to say that despite plans for restructuring, the U.S. would remain the most generous nation on earth, but in a way that makes sense, that's in our national interest. Everything is pointing towards a complex legal and political dance ahead. When most people hear Doge now, they associate it with a threat to their livelihood, a threat to their job. Now, this could end up reaching the Supreme Court. Will Doge get reined in? Will it get pulled in? Or will it continue to be allowed to look into these database systems regardless of the clearance level required? And that also reminds me, some of these individuals, they were given, like basically it was a memo coming from the Trump administration that says all these people are good. When you go for a government job that has a clearance requirement, you have to go through an investigation that takes multiple months, if not a year. And there are times they can do a quick background check and they might give you an intern clearance. And that looks like perhaps that's the way this is going. You have 6 people that are able to access classified and secret material. Do they have a clearance? A lot of people are saying they don't have the clearance. Even though we're in the eye of the hurricane, there is a hiring freeze taking place right now. And all the actions that are coming out from the administration, it is causing fear, anxiety, and stress. You should only focus on what you can actually control. A lot of people are just putting their head down and they're saying, this too shall pass. I'm not going to get too fixated on the latest thing that Trump has said. I'm going to focus on my work. I'm going to continue to do a good job for the everyday American. I'm going to work for the American public. Now, if you're wondering about the hiring freeze or maybe the return to office mandate, I did a 2-hour live stream. I answered dozens of questions, and there's timestamps throughout that live stream. If you want to see if your question was answered, or maybe you just want to know more about the hiring freeze, I want you to watch this video next. If you need a federal resume example, check out the links down below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.